You don't need more leads, so why are you increasing your ad spend when your show rate's under 60%? What's up? I'm RJ, just giving out free advice over here on the good old YouTube for you guys for free. And so a lot of you guys just increase spend to scale, but you don't realize your system is actually broken. And we're gonna go over the confirmation page today, the exact reason why no one actually really talks about it. Here are all the some of my client results, so you can you can actually listen, right? And so we're gonna go over the five main differentiators for dealing with confirmation pages. Okay, so why the confirmation page is the most skipped lever in the entire funnel. It's very slept on. Number two, full page structure. I'm going to go in depth on how we actually structure all of our clients' confirmation pages, right? And the video and three video types, which which one to use and how to use them on the page itself, right? Scanner mode versus justification mode, and number five, the actual math on doing this and why it will increase your show up rates by a lot, right? If you do it correctly. And so, why the confirmation page is the most skipped lever in the entire funnel. Okay, every agency that you've probably hired or even known of doesn't focus on this, right? They just focus on getting you the right ads and the right messaging, maybe not looking at your offer or even like more so the landing page or even the confirmation page in general, right? It's just an afterthought. Okay, most confirmation pages just say thank you, look at your email for the booking link, just check your email here, or here's some testimonials, not really anything else, right? And so like it's just one page where the lead is you know hat is highest intent, right? And that's like the major reason why you need to incorporate this inside your funnel, at least for cold paid traffic, if not for both, right? And so like it's the first touch you have between them speaking with your closers or yourself of your organization, right? And so obviously if your setters are dialed, they call the lead. But like if you just have them on a page with nothing else besides like check your email, thanks for booking, or maybe like a short video that you specifically are saying that, like that's not going to do anything, right? You can you can optimize so much better with more videos, more testimonials, more answering questions, objections, questions of questions, right? And so like, and expectations, just to name a few. Okay, and so like they need to be presented with information right off the bat, right? And the difference is between a 40% and a 65% show rate on the exact same ad spend, is what you could be getting, right? Regardless of what your show rates are right now, you can increase that 10, 15, 20, 30%. It's kind of nuts, right? So the full page structure here is like kind of in depth on like how we structure ours. Confirmation headline, something that actually creates forward momentum, not like thanks, you're actually booked, right? And so you can have a mixture of these things going forward. You'll see here in a second, right? You have a hero video, urgency, some FAQs maybe, or some due diligence, right? Just have them do research from you, right? So you can persuade them in the right direction of actually getting make sure it's a good fit and getting help that they need from your services, right? Breakout videos. You can put as many as you really want, but we do at least 3 to 4 to 12, short videos. Okay, these are not VSLs. These are not case study 30-minute long videos. These are like 4 to 12 straight to the point videos. That answer objections, questions, expectations. It's a common thing your sales team is hearing on the sales calls, right? You need to get that in front of the people as soon as possible in these videos, right? Obviously you're gonna have testimonials, contact number if you want to put your setter's contact number up there. If you have multiple, it's gonna be harder. I know some of you guys have multiple setters and multiple closers right now, but you can just be like, who's the email coming from, right? You can put the email address that you send your emails to, right? Just little things like that, and like what happens next. This could be a video, this could be inside your main, hero video that you have right now. Just guiding them, right? And so let's go right into it, okay? And so, first funnel, this is Nick. This is his thank you page, right? We had a hero video and a thank you, right? And so you'll see between these two examples like how different they are, but it still goes to the point of having this framework in depth here. So we have the hero video, right? Next questions, handling the objections here. And like, so we had some testimonials here, and there's more testimonials below this, but like we can go on and on about that, right? So complete registrations, and they had to pay the deposit before they even hopped on the sales call, right? And so we had some leverage there, and more friction there as well to have actually qualified people talk to our closers, right? We had the setters contacting them to make sure and walk them through step by step so they can actually do this deposit, which worked pretty well, right? We didn't just tell them to go pay the deposit, right? We handheld them to get the money up front, and then we sent some video assets, right? But that's for another video, okay? So this is another client of ours. We had had check your email, a little bit more in depth here with less videos. So his main video answered all the common questions, objections, just things like that, right? And so you don't have to have 4 to 12, right? So we're gonna go here in depth in a second. So that's kind of what that looks like. And so more so about like how this looks in depth. We'll review it real quick actually. So the confirmation page is gonna be here. Okay, this is gonna how it looks like. Like I do recommend recording videos, but depending on your niche and your market and what they prefer and what works better for you, like you just saw, like we had a FAQ here for his, right? And then we had FAQs here as well. And so like a couple of our clients, it's probably half and half that do videos, multiple videos, and have a shorter main video, have multiple, right? You can have a longer main video, answer all those common, objections, questions, just things like that in the main video, right? And so you're going to have them all below this, right? And then you're going to have your client results, okay? And then book a call, nurturing, things like that, right? So scanner mode versus justification mode, okay? So before they even book their call, they're scanning around, right? Rapid judgments, short attention span, cliff-like drop-offs, okay? And that might be one of your bottlenecks too, not just show-up rates, right? So after they book, they flip into like, justifying why they actually made the right decision, right? They're researching, they're asking, is it actually worth it to, use my time and spend money on your things, right? And your services, okay? And this is the only moment in your entire funnel where they are actively looking for reasons to trust you, right? Now this is harder and more complicated with cold traffic, and that's to be expected. That's why you're watching this video, right? Your organic is working, okay? And so like you need more trust-based stuff and more guidance on the back end, like a confirmation page with cold paid ads, right? So if you don't give them anything to watch, they are researching you on your LLMs, on Google. They're like asking, their spouses, their families, right? Their friends, and even if it's like worth it to show up, right? And they're like constantly thinking of like, is it going to be worth it? And you have to present the information, justifiably and ethically, to persuade them into thinking the right things, to qualify them to actually help them with your services, right? And that's like the main thing I want to put for you here. You need to be answering the objections, expectations, like what happens if this goes good, what happens if this goes terribly wrong, right? You need to put that in front of them, okay? So it's not going to be a surprise on the back end, and then they're not going to ask for refunds, right? It needs to be like pretty transparent. And the confirmation page video is your chance to control the narrative, right? And so you control what's in your VSL, you control what's in your application, you control what's on your social media pages, on your ads. So you need to control what's being presented to them on the confirmation page, what they're going to be seeing before your call, right? And so like the 4 core questions that need to be about these videos, right? And like in your hero or like in the sub videos below it, right? And kind of these are going to be things you're going to be asking yourself to put on this confirmation page. What are the questions? What are the questions that come up after the questions get answered, right? So secondary questions, right? What are the expectations related to the questions, right? Or just expectations in general, okay? And so like number 4 would be like the common objections your closers get that come up every single call, or majority of the calls, right? You can just put them in a video, and there you go, right? And so your closers have a lot easier time, and your setters have a lot easier time to just do their job, right? They need to be hungry. They need to be getting more leads on the calendars, right? Your closers need to be putting more revenue in, more time in, just with layup deals rather than like education calls, and getting some hard asses on the calls, right? It's not, obviously, it differs between every single offer and every single market and niche, right? On how easy your sales calls are going to be and how you present your offer and your messaging. But adding a confirmation page is going to be your best friend, right, to getting show-ups, right? If you have more show-ups, you're going to have more closes. That's just how that works, okay? And so like back to this let's just kind of like the entire funnel here, kind of brief and overview, right? You have your ad, your VSL landing page, pretty standard. Headline, your main video, but like you need to have these videos here, or like a FAQ, right? So like that's what that looks like. And then obviously you have your booked call, you have your nurturing, you have your call, you have your close. We have other best practices over here, but that's another one of my videos, right? And so you can go watch that. But the math, to break it really down for you, you need to do this as well, right? A confirmation page alone can like on average increase your show rates by 17%. Okay, so breakout videos alone, 30% show rate lift from just videos. Okay, if you're at 40% show rate on 100 booked calls, that's 40 calls. Add confirmation page videos or just in general correctly, you're at 57 to 70 calls. Same ad spend, same leads, same process, right? You're just adding this. 17 to 30 more conversations per 100 bookings, right? So you need to break this down for your offer. If you have a 30, 40, 50% show rate and you increase it by that, 17%, do the math, right? If you incorporate this, it's going to increase revenue. I'm telling you right now, right? It's going to, if you do it the correct way and just follow the procedure, right? At a 5K offer and a 20% close rate, which is not that great, right? That's 36 more clients per month from one page. Just do the revenue math here too, right? And let's go into, Nick's specific, use case, right? His case study. He was a window tinting business. We took from $7,000 to $14,000 to making over $56,000 in 32 days. And here's kind of how we did it, right? 3 things that exactly changed. The urgency video on the confirmation page, I kind of showed you back here, like what his looked like, right? And so like this wasn't a thing when we came in. This just wasn't a thing, right? And so I have another case study video that breaks it down, but like more in depth on what exactly we did. But like we added the breakout videos, and we tested those, right? We had the breakout videos and the FAQ, and the FAQ seemed to be working more to getting us the show rates that we wanted and needed to make over $56,000 in 32 days. But we incorporated them. You can incorporate videos or FAQs, right? Typically we do see the videos do well because obviously people are like more inclined to watch videos from the people who they trust, right? And so like with the setter voice note, this is the part of the closer or the sales team best practices, I should say. Personal, voice note from the setter if they don't answer the phone works really well too. Same leads, just more conversions, right? This is why you don't need to pump your ad spend to getting more leads and more closes. You need to go in your funnel, right? If you're spending $500 a day on ads or more, or like just in general, just for example, you don't need to put in 750, 1,000, 2,000. You don't need to double or triple your ad spend to get that many more sales. That will do it, but like it's much more optimized if you look at your entire funnel. If you find this bottleneck, and if your show rates suck, that's your lowest hanging fruit. You need to change how you do things on the back end, your system, in order to really get more revenue. And then when you double that ad spend or triple it, you're rocking, right? You're rocking. You're having a lot of fun, okay? And his show up rates went from 57 to 79%. So that's kind of how that works. And what the system produced: $1,200 of ad spend, 32 days, $56,100, right? A few dollars off here and there, but we just rounded, okay? You hear me say that a lot. And close rate did increase as well. This dramatically affects the close rate, right? Like I said, if you have more shows, you will have more closes. If your sales team, is better than average, right? Or even if you have average sales team, this will help them tremendously, right? And so that's a 46.7 return on his money. And I'm not saying that you're going to have any luck or any way of doing this, right? I don't know you. This is just a YouTube video, right? And so like if you incorporate this, you might have good results, you might have bad results, because you're just going off a YouTube video of somebody you barely even know, right? And so like it didn't come from more ad spend. It didn't come from finding their entire sales team, which Nick did before. It just came from that that one page and the 3 things that we did, right? That we just went over. Okay, same closer, same script, just better system. It's not a thank you message. It's the highest leverage thing you could probably do to increase your show rates. It is. You know what I mean? And I can't really think of like something higher leverage than incorporating, best practices, right? You have these videos down here that answer questions, objections, expectations, and really give that trust barrier get it pretty low, right? And they oftentimes just go through it, because if you don't have any of these videos, like I was saying, they just look for a way to, say, no, it's not going to be worth it. So they don't show up and they ghost you, right? If you present information based on these 4 quadrants, you are going to give them information to justify why they should show up to the call. And that's very important. And that's what we did for Nick, right? And so like if you want a free audit, we're auditing businesses every single day. Just go down below in the description, right? We'll hop on the call, break down exactly what's going on, exactly how you could fix it. At the end of the day, you could get a lot of value from me and us over here at Arevian, right? But, if it's a good fit, we'll break down exactly what the roadmap steps are for you to get help from us done for you. Okay, I will see you in the next one.